Hello guys, welcome to tonight's call, the Team Determination team meeting. And if you weren't on the call live, then you missed out some fun and exciting pre-call stories. But I wanted to get started tonight with some recognition for the coaches this week who have done a great job. First of all, we didn't have anybody hit the 500 PV mark, so I just wanted to shout out the coaches that had the most PV. And that was Amber and Pamela and Kendallin. So good job, ladies. Not coincidentally, those three ladies are also the ones who already have Success Club points this month. And so there's obviously a correlation there. The people who are having the highest volume are the people who are pushing for Success Club. Also, I wanted to shout out those coaches who got a Team Cycle bonus this week, and that was Pamela, Ashley, and then my husband, who doesn't do anything, but he got a bonus. And that's what I have for recognition. The other thing I wanted to talk about before I kind of go into the training part of this call is the giveaway that I'm doing to Gatlinburg. So I think you guys already saw what I posted in the group, but I just wanted to say it here and also give you guys have a chance to ask any questions that you might have about it. So basically, here's what it is. My upline, Tara Carr, she is a 15-star diamond coach. She's a top 10 coach from last year, 2012. She was a top 10 coach. And for all of the diamond coaches on her team, anywhere in her downline, she is offering a retreat that's in Gatlinburg. It is 100% paid for, so all you have to do is get there, and then once you get there, the lodging is covered, the food. She hired a personal chef to come stay at this private cabin with us for a week, and she has guest speakers coming, including John Acuff, who used to be on Dave Ramsey's team. He's an amazing writer, and so I'm really looking forward to hearing him as a speaker. We're also going to be doing some team building stuff, like from what I've been told, one of the biggest zip lines in the U.S. is in Gatlinburg, and so that's one of the things we'll be doing. And I get to bring a guest, which is really cool. So the way the contest is going to work is whoever has the highest personal volume starting today, so between today, which is August 14th, and September 10th, whoever has the most PV is going to get to come with me as my guest, and I am even going to pay for your travel as well. So it will be completely free to you. All you have to do is earn it. And so I'm really excited about that. If you guys have questions, please let me know. I know Melissa and Amber, you guys were both interested in possibly doing that. So like I said, if you have questions, let me know. I'm so excited. Like, this is one of the trips that I am the most excited about. Okay, so tonight, what I wanted to talk about was using bubble sheets. I don't know if you guys saw this post in the other group, and I had made a little video about it, but I think the video was kind of confusing, and I think it's a really great tool. So I wanted to share it with you and go over how to use it. So let me start by asking this. How many of you can just like raise your hand because I know you're all muted. How many of you have used the bubble sheets to at all, printed them off and or used them? Okay, so that's what I figured. So I just wanted to tell you more about them. So I printed mine off. I can't see myself. Hold on. Okay, I want to make sure that I have this in the camera. So I printed some off so that I could kind of go over it with you and explain to you how these work, because this was not my original idea. And when I first heard somebody talking about this, I was like, I don't get it. I just want to explain how it works and also let you know that as part of the coach groups that we have going on, we have the Crash Course into Coaching, which is 21 days long. It's the first course you do as a brand new coach. We have Emerald Essentials, which is the second course you do as a new coach. It's also 21 days. And we have the Push to Diamond group, which is also 21 days. So there's 3 21-day groups that you can be a part of in that order when you become a coach. And so I set these sheets up in order to use them as part of those groups and teach people to use them from the beginning. So as people who are going to be adding new coaches, even if you don't use these, it might be beneficial to you to know what I'm talking about. So if some of your coaches ever ask you, about the bubble sheets, you know. So here's the first one, and this is just called the bubble sheet. It's in the team determination files. If you look really closely, you can see across the top, I've labeled the week. So if you are in the push to, if you're in the crash course for coaches, then we'll be using week 1, week 2, and then we have 2 columns for week 3. And then when you're in the Emerald Essential groups, we'll be using the rest of these 3. We'll be using week 4, week 5, and week 6, and there's 2 columns for each week. And then over here on the side, it tells you what you're going to be doing during those weeks. So each of these little bubbles represents a person that you talk to. So when you talk to somebody, then you're going to circle the bubble. So today, actually, I was reaching out to a lot of people because it is the 14th, and I have 0 Success Club points. So just know I struggle too sometimes, and this has been a hard month for me. So I talked to a lot of people today. So the first person I talked to, her name was Christiane. And so I'm going to do a circle because I talked to Christiane. So I circled this bubble. And then I also talked to Kelly and Sebastian and Alex. Okay, so there's 4 people. So I'm going to circle these bubbles that represent the 4 people I talked to and then write their name inside of it. Just so that I can keep track of who I'm talking to. And then once I hear back from them, let's say that somebody told me no tonight. Hold on, Caitlin. I talked to a girl named Caitlin, and she said, not right now. So I wrote Caitlin in a bubble. Then after she talked to me and I got back with me, I'm going to put a big fat X through it because she said, no, now is not a good time. So I just crossed her off of the list. But another person just messaged me since I've been on this call, and he said, yes, give me a call tomorrow. Let's set up a time. So once he signs up tomorrow, I'm just going to do this for an example right now. I'm going to go ahead and color in his name. And so that tells me that I talked to Sebastian. He said, yes, he wants to sign up. Call him tomorrow. He signed up as a coach. So these dots represent people who said yes and either joined a challenge group or signed up as a coach. In your first week in that crash course into coaching, we're going to focus on adding new Facebook friends. So you won't necessarily be inviting people that week. You'll be adding new friends. So every time you add a friend, you'll circle the dot, and then you'll write their name down in that dot. When they add you back as a friend, then you can color in the bubble, and they'll tell you how many friends you added that week. So that way the first week you're not actually inviting, but you are growing your network. The second week, during that, we're going to focus on sending out invites to the free 5-day challenge. And so every time you invite somebody to that challenge, you'll write their name down, circle it, and then depending on what they say, you'll either X through it or you'll color it in. In week 3, we have 2 columns. That will be when we start inviting to our challenge group. So the goal will be to invite 20 people to our challenge group. There's 20 bubbles for those weeks. And then in weeks 4, 5, and 6, during the Emerald group, we're going to focus more on coaching prospects and inviting people into the sneak peek. And so I wrote all of that over here on the side so you would know what you're trying to focus on in each week that you're using this sheet. And then over here on the side, it just has like encouragement words. So it's like getting started, on a roll, kicking butt, you got this. And so it's basically like saying the more of these circles that you fill in, the more success you're going to have, because that just symbolizes more people that you've talked to. And each week has 10 spots, because you should be talking to a minimum of 10 people every week in order to really grow your business. And there's a second one. This one says push to diamond. It doesn't have that stuff on the side because at that point, we've already gone through all of this. So this is to use in the push to diamond group. And also if you guys just want to continue to use it, that's what I'm going to be doing to track my contacts and who I've talked to and who I haven't talked to. And it's 6 weeks worth of people all on one page that I can keep track of, and I can easily tell if they've made a decision or not. Hold on one second. Matt, come here, please. The ducks are at the pond, and I tried to get them, but I couldn't get them to come back. So
the ducks?
Mm-hmm. The chickens are put away.
Okay.
So anyway. Yeah, so that's kind of what I was thinking about when I decided to share these bubble sheets with you, and I wanted to go over it in more detail, and I'm actually going to save this portion of this call and use it in the challenge groups to introduce bubble sheets to you guys. So what questions do you have about using those? Anybody? Do you think oh, go ahead, Megan.
I think a huge clarification for me was you explaining the left side of the sheet, because that's what totally confused me by the getting started and on a roll now. And those encouragement, I had no idea what was happening. So thank you for clarifying it. And it makes a lot more sense to me now, where week 1, I'm only focusing on adding new friends. And I like your suggestion of writing the person's name in there so then you can keep track. And that's something else that I have a hard time with, is keeping track of people, because I always forget, well, who did I talk to? Or now I'm adding a whole bunch of people. So who did I just recently invite that I need to connect to? So that's helpful. I guess my question is, what do you say to those new friends that you add? Do you write them a little message, or do you just add them as a friend and then catch up with them later?
Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. I mean, sometimes I'll just say, oh, hey, how are you? Good to reconnect with you and have a conversation. Sometimes I don't say anything at all. Sometimes tonight I added a bunch of people who had filled out my application form on my blog, and when they added me back, I did go in and say, hey, I just sent you an email. Thanks for adding me on here. Looking forward to getting to know you better. But those were people who had already reached out to me, but we weren't Facebook friends yet. But most of the time I just either say like, hey, how are you? Or I don't say anything at all.
Okay.
Depends on how well I know them, I guess. Sometimes I add people I don't actually know, and then I don't talk to them right away because I don't want to seem like a stalker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The other thing that's kind of neat, and then if you guys have more questions, you can ask. In the little bubbles, like you can write, if he says, oh, get back to me tomorrow, or somebody says, hey, get back with me in 2 weeks, or send me a sample, or whatever, you can write a little note there, or there's a lot of space at the bottom, so you can write an arrow that says, you know, what this person said, what, you know, if there's an action that you need to do, like send out a sample or get back with them in 2 weeks, you can actually have notes right there on the paper too and keep them all together in one spot. So.
Okay, I had another question. On the form, it says, on weeks 4+, so weeks 4, 5, and 6, you're focusing on coaching prospects and the sneak peek. Is that you spend those 3 weeks or all those weeks doing that, or do you focus on something else later on?
As the Emerald group and the Diamond group both are new things that we're just getting started. And so I haven't been 100% sure how that's going to look, especially in the Emerald group. And now that we're actually in the Emerald group and I'm figuring out kind of how it's going to go, I think I'm going to change that. And in week 1, we'll be inviting to the 5-day challenge again, because that is what we're going to do as, you know, following our calendar. When I made this, we hadn't done the calendar yet. And in week 2 of, well, this is, okay, so week 4, which would be Emerald Essentials week 1, we're going to be inviting to the free 5-day challenge. In week 5, which is week 2 of Emerald Essentials, we'll be inviting to our challenge group. And in the last week, we'll be inviting to the sneak peek group. So I will probably make up new ones of these, actually, now that we're talking about it, and have one for the crash course and one for Emerald Essentials and one for the Push to Diamond. Well, the Push to Diamond is going to stay the same because I'm not going to put any recommendations on there, because you know if you need challengers or coaches or what it is that you need to be pushing for at that point. But I will probably change the other ones up a little bit. But in the first 3 weeks when you're in that crash course, I don't necessarily think you need to be inviting coaches into the business. I mean, I think it's great, and a lot of people have become Emeralds almost immediately, but most of the time that's family and friends. But until you kind of get a handle on what you're doing, you don't necessarily need to be bringing people in with you. So I think in the first one, we'll focus on the inviting Facebook friends, inviting to the free 5-day challenge, and then inviting to a challenge group. And the second group is when we'll start actually inviting coaches to join you. anybody else have a question?
I have a question, not about the bubble sheets though.
Okay.
Kind of relates back to Sarah Janie Fitness from her Instagram tutorial. And she said that every few days she reposts her Shakeology sample post, and she charges $5 a sample. And I know you charge for samples too. I was wondering what forum you use for taking that money.
PayPal. I pretty much only use PayPal. I also have an account with Square Market. So I think the website is just like square.com or squareup.com. And because when I was using PayPal, I had just like 2 or 3 people who said, I don't have PayPal. Can I use something else? And so I signed up for that Square account. It's free, and they will send you a free card reader that you can plug into your iPhone or your iPad, and then you're able to take payments like on the spot, or you can type in their information if they give it to you and you don't see them in person. But for the most part, I try to use PayPal just because that's the easiest. And occasionally I'll use the Square Market.
Okay, and since they're, like paying for something from you, do you usually, I guess it's a personal thing, but do you usually do delivery confirmation, tracking, anything like that? To save yourself,
No, I really don't. I've never had, 90% of the time I don't charge for samples. Occasionally I do, but most of the time I will send people one sample free, and then sometimes I'll charge for consecutive ones. But no, I've never paid for tracking on it, and I've only can think of one time when it didn't get there. So for the most part, it hasn't been a problem. And I just put it in an envelope. I don't even go to the post office. I put it in an envelope that's like a big, this size envelope. I don't know what size that is. 5.5 by 8.5. So you just fold a sheet of paper in half. That's what size it is. And I can get one stamp. It was an 85-cent stamp, but I think it just went up, so it's like 86 or maybe 90 cents now. But I went into the post office one time with my thing, and I said, how much does this cost to mail? And they said that it was thin enough. If it was only one packet of Shakeology, it's thin enough to go through the letter. You can mail it as a letter, and you only need the one stamp on it. And so I bought a whole sheet of those stamps so I could just do it from my house. Okay. I know going to the post office, kind of a nightmare with 3 kids.
I hear you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, well, that was actually all I had for tonight, was talking about the bubble sheet. When I plan out these calls in my mind, it feels like I have a lot of stuff to say. But then when I get on the call, I'm like, oh, well, either I talked really fast or that just wasn't as much as I thought it was. But I'm happy to talk about anything else you want, or just chat, or, hear some of your duck stories.
I have a question.
Okay.
On the calendar, I think this is where I got it, is the calendar that you posted on the determiNation Facebook page. There's a coaching webinar.
Yes.
Okay. Is that something that you do?
I have never done it before. That's something that I'm very scared and uncomfortable about starting next week. A lot of people that I know that are like top 10 coaches, top elite coaches, they do those coaching webinars every month, once a month. And so my plan has been to watch all of theirs and try to figure out what it is. And then I'm going to start hosting one. It's going to be on the 3rd Tuesday of every month. So you guys invite your prospects to it. Invite everybody that you want to hear more about coaching, anybody who asks you about it. Try to get them on the call. And then I'm just going to basically share my story, my success, what coaching is, an overview. And I'm hoping that it'll be about 30-ish minutes. And then hopefully after the call, then they'll just like be running to your door, knocking it down, saying, I need to be a coach tonight. But on the off chance that doesn't happen, then after that we can see, follow up and see if they want to join the sneak peek group, which would be the week after that.
So it's not something that we get on to, though, right?
You can get onto it, but no, you don't have to. You can just send your prospects to it, and they can watch it. You don't have to get it on it at all. Although at some point you might want to watch one of them just so that you know what I'm saying. That way if they have questions, then you can answer them. But no, you do not have to be on it as well. And I don't think they'll know who is on it because I'm going to use any meeting, which is not, I won't be able to see all of them. They'll just be able to see me, and I'll be able to screen share so I can show pictures. So that is my
Okay.
And
When
then,
was that first meeting?
It is the third Tuesday, which is the 18th. No, the 19th. So it's next Tuesday, the 19th.
And how do we sign people up for it? Or is there going to be a direct link for them to click on when it happens?
I'm going to give you the link ahead of time. That way you can give it to people. So I'll try to set that up tonight. I'm making myself a note to coaching. So I'll try to get that set up tonight, and then I'll share it with you guys so you can start giving it out to your prospects. Okay.
and if anyone didn't see, I'm running a 3-day refresh starting on the 18th. So if you guys have any, if you guys have any customers, or if you yourself are going to be doing the 3-day refresh, you're more than welcome to join this group. Just let me know, and then I can add you into it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you guys for being on the call tonight. I appreciate you showing up, and I am going to end the recording now and post this in our group and talk to you next week. Have a good night.
All right, see you guys.
Bye.